Thank you for your interest in VoteWorks Byopad, proudly presented by Infowhyse GmbH. We invite you for a quick run through. What is that all about and how does it work? We are presenting an application which has been made available A as native app and B as a web app for different device types. As well as it has been made available obviously for any type of manufacturer, any type of device. It can be used on almost any provider and on 3 different operating systems as like iOS, Android and Windows 8. All it really needs is some sort of internet connectivity. What makes it so special and what is it for? The Byopad allows you to use your own smartphone as a voting device. A voting device as like you may know it from the traditional RF keypads, which nowadays run on 2.4 gigahertz. And this setup will allow you to participate in so-called interactive audience response sessions as like Q&A sessions during medical education, in meetings, corporate training, congresses and all sorts of events where a lot of people are together and need to make decisions or want to get interactive feedback from their audience. You can run these interactive sessions by the use of the Byopad only or together with the traditional RF hardware-based keypads, which is one of the very specific features of that app. And that doesn't matter whether you are usually running VoteWorks Collect keypads or Interacts or the brand new VoteWorks Engage keypad. The only remaining component needed to make that all happen is a plugin called EdiVote Pro, which is used to be installed under MS PowerPoint, and that's mainly it. Aside of course your presentation PC with PowerPoint requires an internet access to the voting server. The question editor is obviously template based, as you just know it from other PowerPoint editing. Well, as the Byopad is that easy, we can immediately go into practice, I guess, and do some testing, and we'll see how that all works. Well, first of all, as usual with apps, you need to download this stuff, and you can download it from the typical App Store or Google Play Store or what have you. And once you have downloaded it, you will get an icon like the one we see here, and by the time you click on that icon, you will immediately get your keypad. I'll try to demonstrate that to you on my own iPhone here. So where we are, this is already the download has already been completed, and all you need to do is tap on that app, and then the keypad will come up. And obviously this keypad is now not ready for voting because no voting question has been posed yet. So we take it aside for another second and bring it back by the time we need it to demonstrate how the voting as such takes place. But as long as there is no voting active, the keypad as such is fully deactivated. You can't play with it, you can't do anything wrong. It's just in standby mode. Okay, where we are. A typical question which may be posed in an interactive session is this one here, which we call time for vacations. And this time for vacation thing offers 7 answer opportunities. Press 1 if you already had a chance to have vacations. Press 2 if you're intending to go for a week. Press 3 if you're intending to go for 2 weeks. Press 4 if you're lucky and you can go for 3 weeks. Press 5 if you are going to take more than 3 weeks. And press 6 if you never take holidays, or 7 if none of the above applies to you. If I click one more time, this voting will be opened. You can see that down here in the bottom line you get a green status indicator. No results have gone in here so far, and a timer on the left hand side went down as I was talking. This was a very short period only. Anyway, we can still vote. I'll do that to demonstrate that on my iPhone here. So now, as you can see, it has been waked up, and we see the 7 options being made available on our keypad as like shown here, and you can't fail in pressing the wrong answer. If you press, for example, 2 because you're going for a week, you simply press the button, you see the figure showing up here, you get a receipt, okay, and the voting is already in our, via the server, in our PowerPoint presentation. And by the next mouse click, we will be able to show the results. Here we are. I press 2, I'm going for a week. That's the whole process we are looking at, and it shows how easy it can be used. Obviously, there's more than that one voting type, which was, in this case, a single selection. We know more than that single selection. We will come to that in a minute, but before we do that, I'd like to go through with you to any bit and piece of the process we just saw, so you have a chance to see how we have organized the bits and pieces. So first step obviously is that you enter a question in PowerPoint, which then will be presented. I apologize for showing a German sample here. This is a typical single selection with 4 opportunities, out of which you can choose 1. And as long as the voting is not open, the voting indicator down here is gray, and it should show 0, by the way. This is a mistake, it should not show 100. Anyway, so this is how it starts. Then you have a keypad at the same time, which shows it being in standby. No buttons so far being highlighted. Only by the time you open the vote, which just to remember you, is highlighted by the green button, it will release the 4 buttons for your 4 answers, and then you can enter one of the figures. In our sample we took the 2, which will generate a received OK by the system, which indicates to you your vote has been counted. And then as a next step, what will happen is that figure disappears again, just in order to protect you from other people sitting next to you seeing what you have voted for. And by the time we click one more time, the voting will be ended, the keypad will be deactivated again, and immediately as a next step the voting results will be shown, whatever they are. Okay, that is the process. Now, what sort of voting modes, voting types do we have? There is multiple selection, of course, and the difference for multiple selection is that you can vote once, but also are allowed to vote up to a number of times which has been set up in the properties of that question. So that may be 3, that may be 5, depending on how many answers have been generated for that specific questions. So aside the multiple selection, we offer ranking. It's almost the same as like multiple selection, but with the big difference that we care on the sequence which has been you choose to press the button. So whereas multiple selection doesn't care whether you press 1, 3, 5 or 5, 3, 1, in ranking we care and evaluate which button has been pressed first by you. Also, we know an opinion polling voting type. This opinion polling voting type is actually something you will probably be familiar with. You can vote on any scale you design. In our case here we have a scale from 1 to 4, differentiating between being something very innovative or not being innovative at all. The beauty of this sort of voting mode is that you can calculate certain statistics, like in our case here, given average, variance, or a standard deviation. One more or two more question types are available. One is what we call the free numeric input. As it says, you can enter figures without outside the box, so to speak. There's no given answers from which you can choose. You have to guess what is the right answer, and you enter these figures, and the system will evaluate whether your answer was right, almost right, or wrong. And the last one we will practice again is a alphanumeric input, so you can ask for text or figures in this case, and the system will evaluate whether the answers were right or wrong. This can be done under the condition of size sensitivity or not. So we'll practice that for a second, and I'll bring back my keypad. I'll open the voting, and as you can see on my keypad here, by the time it brings up that different type of voting, it will not use the keypad anymore, but it will bring up an answer box in which you can enter your right answer. And in our case here we have what is the name of this sensational ARS innovation? VoteWorks ... So we say this is obviously Byopad. Oops, there's a typo. Don't want to get that. Byopad. Then say no, this is a German spell help. We don't want that spell help. Bypass, right? Byopad. Okay, so say ready and send it. And by the time you have sent it, you get a receipt. This receipt tells you success, your voting has been taken. Okay, so down here you see one vote has been counted, and all we need to do again is press one more time on our PC, and yes, we got it right. The right answer was VoteWorks Byopad. Okay, that have been the voting modes. What else do you need to know on that product? There is, so far we saw an application working where only one session was up at a time at one place. So as there is no login so far needed, because we use the GPS position of each participant to allocate the participants to one session, and there was no more than one session open. There was no need to let the participants select in which session they want to participate. So how does it work if VoteWorks Byopad has to allocate participants, because there's more than one voting session at a time in one GPS area? Well, in these cases, what happens is, if you start the Byopad app, it will not immediately show the keypad, but it will show a selection screen which allows you to enter a certain session. So in our sample here, you can choose whether you want to participate in workshop A or in workshop B or in a plenary session. In this case, we gave a date on top just as a sample. It could have any name. And just by one single tap, you then participate in that session with no further logins required if this isn't set up because of other security reasons. Okay, that's almost it. Why is this not just a smart solution, but even better, a clever solution? Well, let me summarize on that. I think it's because you can use it either on its own, as a standalone system, so to speak, or together with traditional hardware at the same time. But most important, it is clever because the concept of this product does not require huge bandwidths for uploads or downloads of whatsoever data between the server and the smartphones. Instead, what we do is we just simply transmit a few bytes for each voting. So we simply transmit the pressed button information, and that makes the solution very smart with regarding to requirements on bandwidth. And therefore it is a solution which is, so to speak, perfect for meetings which have a huge number of participants. Well, last but not least, Byopad works as long as you have any internet connection. So meaning not only that bandwidth doesn't matter, but the type of internet connection doesn't matter. So whether it's Wi-Fi based or whether it's through your data flat rate or what have you, doesn't really matter. Well, I hope this was impressive to you as like it is to me. And I thank you for your attention. If you need more information on that subject, which we hopefully think you need because you want to use it in your next event, just go to www.keypaddepot.com, bring your own keypad, or email us under info@byopad.com, or give us a call under 0049 2244 8777, or contact one of our local VoteWorks networks partner. Thank you for your attention and have a good time.